Oh, it's been such a long time. It's been such a long time. Thank you for tuning in. Please follow me, like me, comment, subscribe. So, oh man, the Great Conjunction. I don't know if a lot of people know exactly what's going on, but I'm surprised because they're actually talking about it when it comes to science, which is nice because science is starting to tap into astrology, but they don't want to talk about that yet. So anyway, I'm going to talk to you about what's going on. So the Great Conjunction right now is going to happen on December 21st. It is going to be where the planet of Jupiter and the planet of Saturn are conjunct. So what that means in astrology is that they are within very, very, very close degrees. Some in astrology, that's more so Eastern astrology, they kind of consider it where it's like a 5-degree difference. And for astrology, that's more so Western, there's usually about a 10-degree similarity that's right there. So as long as two planets are either 10 degrees apart or also in the same what's considered to be a house. People that don't really necessarily follow astrology are kind of confused when I say house. They're like, what does that mean? Well, basically there is a beautiful chart. I wish would have been the perfect time to have my computer too. But if you get a second, Google astrology birth charts and you'll see that your birth chart is actually divided into 12 areas, and they all have the signs that are on the outside, and some signs are, I'm saying rules because that's technically how we describe it in astrology, but some signs are either like right over where those numeral points are, Roman numerals, or they're a little bit off. And all of that makes a lot of sense to astrologers and people that follow astrology. However, at the same token, what the numeral points are, it gives the 1 through 12. So every house, there's 12 houses, and every house has a particular characteristic of itself. I explained this in other videos that I have recorded previously, and if you click videos on my Facebook, or even if you go to my YouTube, you'll see a lot of that being explained there. There's actually a video that's probably about 10 minutes long, and it explains all of the houses and how they are all categorized, and how they all reflect certain areas of our lives. So if you take a look at that, you'll be able to understand that. However, houses as well in Western astrology, it's a little bit separated where some astrologers believe it really has more so to do with degrees. It is more open to Western astrologers where we feel like if it's in the same house, if a planet is in the same house, no matter if it's at 1 degree and another planet is at 26 degrees, as long as they're still in the same house itself, it still affects each other. And the best way of explaining this is if me and you were in a house, right? You might be in the kitchen and I might be in my bedroom. And some of us have really stretched out homes, right? However, we still affect each other, right? If you use the water too much, I'm going to be affected with my bills. Or if you, I don't know, burn down the kitchen, eventually it's going to hit the bedroom, right? So all of that really kind of correlates with each other. And that's the reason why a lot of people do believe that even if it's in the same house, they still affect each other. They may not affect each other if they're not in the same bed or if they're not in the same shower or using the bathroom together. Odd, but if they do, some people like that stuff. They like to be up each other's asses, and that's fine. So if you're not doing that all the way, then obviously you won't affect each other as much, but you still will affect each other if you're in the same household. Even my neighbors affects me. So, I mean, that's another concept from another story, but you get my drift. Anywho, these planets are literally going to be, I believe it's 26. Is it 26 degrees that they're going to be? Don't quote me. I will be completely honest. I've been very busy with my move. So I haven't really paid attention a lot to the degrees factors, and I've been falling off, but I can't fall off right now because something as heavy is in the wind. I'm not going to get into the numeral factors of the degrees and everything else. I will save that for a different time. I'm going to focus more so on the energy because I feel like right now a lot of us need it. And I think we need to be focused on that. Then if this video actually touches those areas for you and makes you feel like you are being heard and that you are being understood, I would totally start to get into a little bit of the deeper ends of how this entire experience is going to affect everybody, right? And what the degrees actually stands for. I mean, you can even get so deep as to finding out what house this is going to actually affect in your life, so you can see what areas you're going to have this really major effect in. That being said, let's just get to what the energy means, right? So we just had a new moon in Sagittarius. For those of you that knows a Sagittarius, or somebody that is pretty much the definition of a Sagittarius, right? Because we have Sagittarius out there that don't really necessarily stand for that, because they are more like their moon sign or their rising, because they're in that particular zone in life. However, if you know what the archetype of a Sagittarius is, it's all about the idea of the grandiose. Everything is large, everything is magnetic, everything is about going further out to seek something that is a larger understanding that the average person does not really want to take the trip to seek, right? Sagittarius is the energy that is all about gas. I see a Sag in here. Hi, Mia. Sagittarius is all about that energy. I'm sorry, excuse me, she's probably correcting me at home. She's on the cusp. She's a Scorpio Sag, but much love. That's a whole nother level, but we will get into that soon one day, into the cusp. But Sagittarius energy is really sticking out to the person who, there's bluntness, pure bluntness. There we go. Pure bluntness. The reason why I say this is because Sagittarius understands that everything is everything and that there's no need to hide absolutely any of it. There's so many out there far answers to questions that we have in our little minuscule world, and Sagittarius is not afraid to go seek those things. Sagittarius is not afraid to tell you how they feel. Now, at the end of the day, a Sagittarius will also sit here and look at you like you crazy because they don't understand, why are you so sensitive? I'm just answering your question that you wanted to know, right? A Sagittarius is just going to answer that question. They're not going to have to sugarcoat things. They're not going to have to put things into a way for you to get it and understand. It's not about that. It's about getting to the point and getting to the gold. That is Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius wants to get to the point. It wants to understand something, process it, open it completely, right? It's expansion. It has that Jupiterian energy. It is expansion. Let's open it wide open. I want to see all of it, right? All of the things. I want to see the eerie parts, the weirdness. I want to see all of it. I need to see it in a whole, just the whole thing. The reason why is because there's no part of a Sagittarius that's going to feel awkward. You might feel awkward with what they have to say, but they don't feel awkward at all. That energy is also very, very, very competitive. It's a competitive energy because it stands for that, almost like similar to an Aries in the sense of a warrior, but a Sagittarius is a little bit more gritty, right? It's going to do things and go well and beyond past what an average person is comfortable doing to get to the bottom of an answer. That is basically a Sagittarius. It is not afraid. It is fire. It is ready to go, right? So if you put this idea of the new moon in here, okay, when we think of the other obstacles of where we connect to that energy the most, especially the energy of learning, right? Being that Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. It's all about learning. It's all about understanding things. And it's all about doing it in a way where you break down the barriers of religion, of what you thought you knew, like thought you knew. All of that. It's breaking it all down because it wants to get to the bottom of it. I mean, Scorpio's right before it. Scorpio wants to get below that surface as well. But Sagittarius necessarily, it doesn't need to get to the point where it's digging so deep to where it's getting to the bottom of the roots of things. It just is going to say, let's just open the whole freaking tree up. I want to see all of it. All of the things, right? I want to see the good things, the crackhead parts of it, everything. Let's just open the shit up because let's see it. And that is basically how you learn the best, right? If you open things, expand your mind, let your mind travel, let your mind get to the point, let it travel to places that it's never traveled before. A lot of Sagittarius could totally say that they understand what I mean. Sagittarius are not against having a little fun with mushrooms or things that take you to another dimension. When I say foreign, I mean foreign concepts, foreign ways of thinking, foreign aspects, all of that, foreign races, right? You'll see a lot of Sagittarius date out of their race. That's natural. when you take this concept, okay, and you put this with the moon, but putting it with the moon in the sense of the new moon, right? So this is when you're kind of darkening out the sun, you're resetting everything, you're making sure that everything makes sense, but in a Zen way. In order to make sure things make sense, lots of times we have to go back in the house and we have to process. We have to allow ourselves to let go of what's going on around us, come into Zen and process, right? That is basically what we have to do. That is basically what is happening when a new moon goes about. A new moon is going to reset shit. Reset it, okay? I'm seeing all the comments and I'm saying hi back to you all. I wish I could say hi to you individually, but I'll lose my train of thought because my Libra mind is like on the clock. Anyway, so when you take that concept and that idea and you put it to the new moon, there is this heaviness of saying, okay, I need to reset what I thought I knew so I can get to what I can learn, right? That is the concept of taking the idea of the Sagittarius new moon. What I thought I knew, reset, process, gather, get rid of the shit, but open it wide open behind closed doors. Make sure that you understand that it's about you at this moment, right? Sagittarius energy is not afraid to say the shit is about me right now, right? Competitive energy. I need to get me together. I need to make sure that I'm good, right? So now we're resetting that whole entire concept before we come back outside. And then we decide to come outside. And when we do come outside, that's when shit gets real, right? Because now, just like the archer, which the Sagittarius represents, we're pulling back that arrow, right? That's the concept, right? When you get to that new moon, you're pulling back, right? That's what we're doing during the waxing and waning process. So we're pulling back, right? All the way. That new moon is when that arrow is fully here. I'm sorry. I'm lying to you. Let's run that back. That new moon is when we start to pull that arrow back, okay? We're pulling it back because when we get to the full moon aspect, right? Once we've pulled back, right? Once we've gone through the new moon process and then it goes back and back and back and we see the crescents and everything else and we bring it all the way back, that full moon is when we let shit go. And the full moon is when you release it. And it's when it goes forward, right? That's what we're waiting for. Having the new moon right now is when you set these intentions. So we're going back, right? We're drawing this back during this process of when it goes from the new moon to the full moon. And as we're drawing it back, we finally get to that full moon and we let it go. Before that even can occur, we need to take into consideration of what our intentions are. You cannot release anything to get to the next step when you don't know what you're releasing. Then it's just open air. And at that point, it's just open target, right? So it's almost like what I like to call Aries nature. Now, this is considerable for all y'all motherfuckers. So this is sun, moon, and rising. If you are in Aries in any of that aspect, you know what I'm talking about. Mars in Aries as well. Mars in Aries, Venus in Aries even, but we're going to leave it more so as the sun, moon, rising, and Mars in Aries, all right? I'll let y'all Venus in Aries breathe a little bit. However, what I will tell you is this. Y'all know, and Aries knows, and all y'all Aries know, and people that even know in Aries know, that when it's time to burn something down, when it's time to go ahead and do some passion, y'all need to burn it out, or else y'all gonna burn an entire neighborhood for no reason, because when the passion is firing up, you got to get it out, okay? That being said, when it's time to let go of that arrow, you have to have the intention set so you know where that arrow needs to go. You have to. Otherwise, the arrow is going to go in whatever direction, and you can't blame the universe for not giving it a direction, right? You are the compass. You are the person that says, I'm going to go this way, I'm going to go this way, I'm going to go wherever you want to go. But when you don't know where you're going, the universe needs something to do. Okay, so you can't stay in limbo. You can't, it's pretty much like your parent, right? Well, you can't stay here. It sounds like to me you need to get a job and you need to get the fuck out, right? That's pretty much the energy of what the universe is telling you. The universe is like, it's time to, we got to pick a direction. And when you don't set those intentions, you can't blame anybody but yourself. Hate to break it to you. Now, let's bring it back to the Great Conjunction, because now we're here, or they're talking about it. Now that we're talking about it, the Great Conjunction is when you bring Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter, we just talked so much about that heavy energy of that Sagittarius, right? But not just Jupiter ruling that Sag energy, that's also Pisces, right? Jupiter rules Sag and Pisces. We already talked about Sag. Let's talk a little bit about Pisces, especially since Neptune is kind of doing its little dance right now, and it's making a lot of things a little bit fuzzy for a lot of us. And I had a coworker actually say to me recently, she said, I feel a little bit fuzzy today. Like, I can't get no clarity. I said, well, you can, get a clear quartz. However, maybe you're supposed to be fuzzy right now. And she sat with that. She came back to me the next time I seen her. It was probably about 2 or 3 days later. And she was like, Suki, I just have to tell you, thank you for saying that to me. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because again, Libra moon. I'm already on like 5,000 topics between 3 days. I have no idea what I said to you last week or 2 days ago. So she said to me, the fact that you told me that maybe it just needs to be fuzzy is what I needed to hear. Because not everything always needs to make sense all the time. Sometimes you just have to process, right? Sometimes things are fuzzy to make you realize that you just need to sit in yourself. Sit in your shit. Sit in you. Sit in Suki. Like, well, not sit in Suki. I'm saying for me. But you know what I mean. Sit in you. Sit in who you are. Sit in what you need to think about. Sit in all the things that make you feel weird, make you feel awkward, make you feel expanded in life. Sit in it, right? That is that new moon-esque. But having this Jupiter now be such a large part of this great conjunction, we're also tapping into Pisces energy, which is spirituality. Sit in the expansion of spirituality. Spirit. Sit in spirit. Some of y'all are afraid. I mean, I made a video during the beginning of the stages of coronavirus and the quarantine, and I really came at a lot of y'all heavy, including myself, because I watched that video a few times to make sure that I also was on point. Because a lot of times when I make these videos, it's just source coming through. It's source coming through saying what needs to be said. And a lot of times when I watch it back, I'm like, damn, a lot of the stuff I was saying I got to work on for Suki. Like Suki that's not on camera, right? So I came at y'all and myself to tell y'all, some of y'all really are concerned with sitting with self. It is so crazy to me. And it's becoming more and more obvious. Like, you got people on a regular that's starting to get these, like, network downloads that I'm going to start talking about in a couple of minutes, because I talk a lot. But minutes that have to do with the conjunction, right? Like, some of y'all really don't know how to, like, work for self. I said it. Some of y'all don't know how to work for yourself. It is easier to work for someone else, to love someone else, to take care of someone else's shit, to make sure everybody else's stuff on point. And you look around and you be like, damn, bro, I don't have the same gifts that I be giving out to everybody else. Like, ain't nobody buying me nothing. Ain't nobody out here. And I'm not saying it for the purpose of buying, but in the sense of the holiday spirit, no one's buying me a Christmas present. Nobody's out here running errands for me. No one's out here making sure I'm eating. Like, but I make sure everyone else is good. A lot of y'all don't know how to do that for yourself. And I'm going to say the work for, because back in the way days, before all these corporations even occurred, everyone had a craft and an idea, right? Everyone had an idea of where they needed to be directed to, where their purpose was in life, right? Whether you was a shoemaker, a farmer, any of that. Even if you was a $2 hoe, you was out there doing you. I mean, I'm sure they had it back in the day. Don't act like they didn't. They did. I'm sure, especially during the days when the prohibition, when people was even making beer and having parties underground. There was somebody out there hoeing at that point, and that was their purpose. I love y'all. Don't judge me on this. I have Sagittarius energy flowing with me. But anyway, my point is, at the end of the day, everyone has their purpose. And some of y'all don't know how to work for self. Some of y'all don't. It's so easy to go on Craigslist and find a job. Go and ask a friend, hey, do you know anybody that's, hiring for whatever. Let me explain something to you. Whether this coronavirus was created in any of these places that they, you got the president saying it's China, there's other theory, whatever, it doesn't matter. Everything is under God at the end of the day. So yes, the coronavirus happened and it could have been stopped, okay? Just as easily as the devil could be, but that's a whole nother concept. The difference is that there's free will on this plane, right? So the coronavirus, it could be even worse. On some real, God can just trump all this stuff, take it all out. It's done. But the difference between it is that you have freedom. You have ability to make decisions during what is happening. And as long as you know how to hop on that wave and figure it out, no matter what the situation may be, you're a step ahead. Therefore, what I will say to you is this: the coronavirus is not an excuse why you can't start your own business. Yes, I said it. I'm gonna let you sit there for about 10 seconds with it. No, I'm serious. I'm gonna count. I think we at 7, 6. No, we passed 5. I think we're at 10 right now, right? The coronavirus will not stop you from running your own business. The coronavirus will not stop you from putting out that album. The coronavirus is not an excuse for you to stop and do what you have to do to make you work. It's not an excuse. It's not. There's too much shit out there right now. There's the internet. There's so many. You could still, y'all are still going to restaurants. I know. Y'all are still blowing up the restaurants. So if you could take your butt and go and have lunch, right? You could have lunch with any Chelsea, Amber, Summer, Keisha. All of y'all can go out and eat. Y'all can show up. They doing it out in Scottsdale, right? A lot of them. Heels and everything. Just living their best lives. Red carpet. Are you starting your business, though? Are you putting in time for self, though? Right? Are you out here grinding for you? Are you out here grinding for yours, your family? That's because realistically speaking, these corporations are out here showing their ass right now. They dropping like all types of bombs. I've heard people being let go. We can't afford you right now. David, we're going to have to let you go because we just, blah, blah, or, Sarah, we're going to give you a pension. We're going to give you this to get rid of X, Y, and Z. The reason why I'm saying this is because when you think about what is security, right? What does security mean to you? What makes you feel like you are constructed correctly? Okay, when you think of an arch, right? This is the perfect, I think I talked a little bit about this in one video, but this is perfect. I was learning how to do nails over the beginning of the quarantine, right? Because I'm going to start doing nails. And I learned that an arch, right? Arch, that's the correct word. Learn that the arch has, or the nail, right? It has to have, if you see, I'm sorry, this is my middle finger. I don't mean anything by it. Okay. Sagittarius energy. Anyway, do you see how this has kind of like an arch right here? A little bit. If your nail were to hit something, right? The idea is that the arch is supposed to make it so that way the two pillars that keep it up, because in theory, there's this energy, this force right here, right? That's created from this arch. It's technically right here, it's this. But when you break it down to energy, right? It's an energy field, right? It's an energy field on each side, and it's holding it together. So when you hit the nail, those two energy fields are springing up because of that arch. It's the idea of and you can look this up in any type of a lot of historical buildings have arches to them, which is really interesting. But the idea is that the two pillars are supposed to be holding up that strength of that arch that's going over, right? Now, one of these best things that you could think of too, if you want to look at a visual aspect, the McDonald's concept, right? You have the two arches. That's a very heavy meaning. Now, this is the main thing, right? If your arch is jacked up, how are you holding up the world? What is security? A lot of y'all are giving companies your positions to hold your arches. These are the motherfuckers that are sitting here like this for you, holding your arches. If they let that go on either end, you're all messed up. And these companies will do it because, let me tell you this, it don't matter how many awards you can get, how much time you put in, anybody is replaceable when it comes to someone else's advantage over survival. Survival of the fittest. Animals understand it for whatever reason. As human beings, we forget to consider, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say the animal word. He definitely just had a moment and went, ooh, okay, I love you. You're not an animal. You're my child. Anyway, so my point is, A lot of us are forgetting the factors that we still are animals at the end of the day. We still are. So you go out into the workforce, and let's say you're a wolf, right? Now in your mind, you're like, yo, I've been doing really good at this company. I've been doing what I needed to do. I'm an alpha. I'm definitely an alpha in this company. You're not. Unless you got an LLC that actually is, or some type of stock that's way above what we think stocks are. I'm talking about you need to be an owner of a company. That is the only way if you're considered to be the ones they will save. But when you have your own stuff, when you have your own things, and you have things like the pandemic occur, right? Biggest thing I could say to you. My mom's ex told me this. I say this, but he's like a father to me and I love him. Shout out to Maurice, but he tells me this all the time. You want to do pandemic things. He's been saying this before the pandemic even happened. You want to do pandemic things. You want to work in fields that these are emergency things that people need this stuff in order to survive during a pandemic because you'll always be in business. Always, right? So a amount of people that talk shit about hairstylists, bruh, I'm just saying, hairstylists right now, if you work in a salon, yeah, you struggling. But if you work in a situation where you decided to set up shop outside and you're doing, your work, I mean, who the hell going, in the beginning, everybody was like, oh, don't do that, you're spreading the virus. Until shit got real and they stopped handing out all the government assistance. Then it's like, you know what? I gotta make sure I got food for my babies. So I gotta do what I gotta do. Guess what? Hair's doing it. Okay, Hair's out there doing it. You have people that are legit still selling houses because a lot of people cannot afford housing anymore. Unfortunately, they can't afford living in their house, so they have to sell their home and buy a new one. That's still working, right? I'm not even gonna lie. This is probably the most genius. I don't even know why I didn't hop on it, but I guess out of respect for the fact that it was already done, and my Aquarius rising, something with that is weird. I feel like if it's not invented by me, or I ain't think of it, like it's a cop-out to try to hop on a bandwagon that it take a lot. It take a lot to do something. And this doesn't reflect from what I was just saying. Doesn't reflect from that, but I'm saying it just takes a lot for me to steal someone's idea. I'd rather just work on my own craft. But some of y'all went out here and made cocktails. Cocktails. I ain't never seen so much creativity in my life. Cocktails, plates of food, and y'all busted y'all butt and y'all went to different houses, dropped it off, very safe. You dropped off, left it at the doorstop, whatever, collected it through Cash App, whatever. Y'all, the creativity that has occurred through this pandemic is literally saying that the human race is not stupid. It's just that while y'all going through the human process and the human experience, a lot of us really lose concept that, we're literally gods at the end of the day. We're God's children. As above, so below. Ain't nobody ever say take away that power and that energy from up above, but as above, so below. If your parents are great and they teach you how to be great, then you great. You're gonna be great. Therefore, a lot of us need to step into our God energy. Stop sitting here and letting all these freaking people tell you, oh, I can't step into that. That's against God. That's BS. The reason why you have freedom is so you can discover your greatness. Discover your magician power. Discover your magic and put it out there. Stop being scared. You're lucky if you have 100 years in this life. Why you sitting on it? Why you sitting on it? Wondering on Craigslist if you can catch another position so you can feed your family. The pandemic is not an excuse. It's not. And now when we think of security, well, lo and behold, here comes Jupiter, right? We talked about Jupiter with Sagittarius energy. We talked about how it's going to expand things, open things up, be blunt, be real, right? And then we took that and added it to that Piscean energy that Jupiter also goes ahead and rules, right? Modernly. Technically now, Neptune also rules a part of Pisces. However, you're taking it and saying, I'm going to expand spirituality. Now, after that concept, Saturn. Saturn is the energy of discipline, restriction, yes, but discipline. It restricts so it can discipline So that way, after you have disciplined yourself to getting what you need, then you can lift up restrictions, right? It is the grandfather energy that's like, no, you're not going to go outside if you don't do your homework. You need to understand the value behind what your homework is going to bring you. What this experience of all this restriction that you're going through, you have to have the discipline though. The discipline is what's going to actually help in the future, right? It also has to do with government. A lot of people, when they talk about Saturn energy, they make it seem like it's negative. Oh, it's always about the government. It is. What about yourself? I've said this numerous times. Yo, you are your own president. Your own president. You have organs going on in your body, right? Those are the governors, right? Those are the governors. Then you got other little cells and everything, and those are the townspeople or the people that are your citizens, and then you even got the mayor in there somewhere. But at the end of the day, president. Third eye, president. Where are you directing yourself? Where are you directing your energy to? Where are you going? Right? Where are we going with this? Restrict thyself from bullshit. That's what the Saturn is saying. From a governmental perspective, what are we doing here? Where are we going? Restrict thyself from the bullshit, from the distractions, from what's happening, right? When you think of distractions, oh, I need to get X, Y, and Z done. But then you got your stomach growling, right? That's one governor talking about, oh, I need this, blah, blah, blah. Distractions. Now you're going to go eat instead of getting shit done that your third eye is requesting, right? Oh, I got to do this first, or I got to get this first. Your anxiety is going because two organs are doing something, whatever the hell. I can't do what I need to do. Get out of it. This right here, as long as you continuously charge this area, there should be no room for any bullshit. And that is what we need to get away from, my friends. The bullshit, right? Restrict the bullshit. Focus on security factors, right? Saturn is security energy. What does security mean to you? A lot of y'all will watch this and say, money. Money. Money is a piece of paper. I believe, which comedian who said this? He passed away. I love him so much. He's amazing. Oh my God. Oh, this is going to drive me crazy. I will think of it. It'll just come to me naturally. The one that says, I got your milk and cookies. Y'all know who I'm talking about now. But Bernie Mac, that's who it is. Okay, Bernie Mac said this the best in a video. Okay, he said, I'm not worried about the money. The money will come. I'm not focused on the money. That will come. I'm focused on the goals, the aspirations, the passion. Once I go through those things, the money is going to come naturally because your energy is so wide, the universe has to gift you somehow. It doesn't have to be in the form of physical money. It could be gifts, right? I say this a lot of times. I could have $1 in my pocket, but if I have everything I want, I'm rich. I'm rich. Because at the end of the day, everything is already given to me. The money is what gives you that, right? A lot of times we put money in a savings account and we're like, oh, I got such and such savings. Okay, but you die tomorrow. Where is that going? This ain't no mummy situation. You can't wrap that shit up and put it in your pocket and then they put it in there and then your afterlife, you get your money. No, that's not how that works. Money doesn't vibrate on those higher dimensional levels. Sorry, friends. So you better spend it while you can now. I don't mean spend all your money, but what my point is that remember that money is there to purchase the things that are going to get you what you need, right? So therefore, when you're making money, don't make money just to make the money and be like, oh, I got money in my pocket. Make the money because I have the money that I need to buy that camera that I needed for whatever video I needed to make. I have the money that I need to send the information in for my LLC. I have the money that I need. That's what we need to be on, that vibrational frequency, and that money will flow in. It will just flow in. I'm not kidding you. About 2 weeks before I left for Arizona, 2 weeks, I just knew. I was like, oh my God, it's going to take a miracle for me to get this money, this $1,000 that I need. I was $1,000 less than where I was supposed to be. It's going to take a miracle. And sure enough, unemployment had owed me money from a couple weeks previously that they cut me off. That I actually didn't have any job because Philadelphia wasn't open yet. So they just stopped my payments after the whole $600 thing, and then the $300 thing kicked in, but I never got any of it. So I was a couple weeks without cash flow. I was like, what am I supposed to do? And I obviously had to get a job And that was cool. I mean, I was fine with that. But it was more so of the fact that, like, what was going to happen in the time frame that I was actually, like, training and stuff, right? Well, that cash came in, and they had owed me a couple weeks because they cut me off for a few weeks. And sure enough, it came in. I also had a few family members that helped out with that too. And I appreciate them for that. Thank you so much. Y'all know who y'all are. Like, but the point is that it was going to take a miracle. It was the idea that I told the universe, I need $1,000. I need to make sure that I have this by this date in order for me to be able to get this apartment. And then once I get the apartment, I'm good. Everything's set up. I have a job. I have all these things. It's all set up. I just need that 1,000 and then I'm good, right? I didn't stop working. I didn't think there was going to be some magnetic energy, the field that was just going to pull in just 1,000. I could sit on my ass. No, I busted my butt and I got the money that I needed, plus the miracle that also came in. But my point to you is that I gave it a direction. And my point is to you that the $1,000 had purpose. It wasn't about just having $1,000 in my savings account, right? It wasn't about that, because I can't, okay, so it's there. Congratulations. What are you doing with it? So my point is that when you take this idea of the Saturn concept and you take it and put it with Jupiter, now we're opening this box and this expansion, right? When this box, I'm giving this magnetic energy of like straight the universe. You're opening the universe up and you're being like, yo, this is where I need to edit this, and this. Restrict the bullshit, and I need to focus on me. That type of energy is the Great Conjunction energy, my friend. So on a different level, we're going to put it to you this way, okay? The energy that you're about to go through is the energy that's going to tell you, stop the bullshit. Stop it. Cut it the fuck out. Seriously. On some realness, you need to get to where you need to be as a person, as a whole. What is going to put food on your table, but what is going to make you feel like you didn't just come in this realm to be a zombie, to work and bust your butt just to sit here and pay somebody else's bills or someone else's pockets or help everybody else, and they're not helping you. I'm telling you, it is not what life is about. Life is not about making the dollar or whatever just to pay off a cell phone bill, to pay off an electric bill, to buy presents for Christmas. Okay, all this concept, even Christmas presents, all of this was created to pump money out of your pockets of a responsibility that does not exist. Let's be real. Santa Claus ain't a real concept. It was made out so that way people can go out and buy presents for people, but it also causes a lot of stress on families, a lot of pressure, because there's this expectation to purchase all these presents, and if you don't purchase them, then you don't care about people, and that's not necessarily what the entire holiday in general is about, right? That's not what Christmas is supposed to be about. If anybody that's religious would tell you that is completely against what the entire experience is. But you have this idea that America has created that makes people go out and spend money. Valentine's Day, spend money. Freaking anything, spend money. Why y'all spending money on gifts if y'all don't have y'all business situation together? You know, it's not a bad thing to sit and say to your family. Obviously, when they're little, it's a little bit different. But like to say to a family member or a friend, hey, I didn't get gifts this year because I put money down for my LLC. You'll see how quickly somebody is going to be on your side if they tell you, I can't believe you ain't buy me nothing. Or whatever the case. I'm sorry, I'm trying to build me. I'm trying to make sure I'm good. It's not a bad thing sometimes to be selfish. If it's for that reason. Because once you get yourself situated and you get your business rolling, there'll be a ton of gifts, a ton of things to give away. But if you always relying on some company to feed you, and then that company decides to close down, whatever have you, like we're all seeing it right now with the coronavirus. Nothing, I mean, the unknown is shits and giggles for everybody right now. Everybody's scared. That's why fear is so high right now, because the fear of the unknown is what's driving people crazy, right? Coronavirus is just the cause of this entire thing, okay? But now it's gotten to the point where people are not even really talking too much about being fearful of this virus. People are more so fearful of getting kicked out of their homes, fearful of not having money to put food on the table, fearful of the fact that, shoot, they got somebody that's a little bit older that they want to see before, you know, the person's getting up there. It could be the last year that they see them. You don't know. And coming from somebody that like lost a very close family member during this year, and it wasn't even about coronavirus. I mean, damn, I wish that I could have seen my sisters beforehand. You know, I could have seen her before the whole shit hit the fan. I'm sure my mom wishes that she could have seen her. Unfortunately, the coronavirus is what stopped that experience. Unfortunately, my sister wanted to go visit my mother before she passed away. And my mom kept declining because my mom has an illness with her lungs. So we worried so much about coronavirus, we're stopping our lives and stopping experiences of us putting out so much attention towards what we really need to focus on. And that's the issue that I have. Like, with society, with even myself, but more so as a whole. And I say this because there's people like myself out there that are actually realizing this and trying to pump out all the ideas for self. And then you got, this army. I know y'all see it. The devil is not a person. It's not a little red man walking around in some red outfit. Like, it's not with a tail. You know what I mean? And some type of fork thing. No, it's not a dude walking or a girl, whatever, walking around, spirit walking around with some hoodie and it's all wearing all black. No. Devil is an energy. And a lot of y'all motherfuckers got it. That is the original coronavirus. Wake up. I say this because, and don't get me wrong, when I say a lot of y'all, again, I'm talking to myself too. I'm talking to the side of me that also has that part of myself, that frequency of myself, okay? The devil is a frequency. It is a parasite. It needs a host to be able to actually be of something. I remember I said the most messed up thing, and it was so good. Oh, it was so good. To this guy I was dating at one point, he did me so dirty. And me and him were at such a level. He was a Scorpio, so he could understand that, like, real heavy wording that, like, and for some reason, I was like, foreplay, because some of y'all Scorpios are crazy as hell. Like, y'all into that shit. It's like, this person talked to me crazy, but it was some deep craziness, so I appreciate that. That, like, got you, like, excited. It's weird. Anyway, it got him excited because I literally said to him, I said, you're so, like, depleted of positive energy and spirit that you literally have to, like, take it from somebody. Like, you got to suck it out of somebody to even wake up in the morning so you're not crawling on the ground. To even walk, you got to take it from somebody. Like, your energy is not worth a damn thing at this point because you're so corrupted that you have nothing. You're purely a parasite. And I know that sounds like, damn, that's pretty deep, but that's some real that's real. There's a lot of vampires walking around, a lot of zombies walking around, and they see these people that are getting enlightened that's like, yo, I need to start my own business. I need to start my own legend. I need to start my own, get my crafts going. Like, I was made for more than just this, but just sitting here and doing this job. Like, I was made for more than this. I was like, my mind has been created and brought into this world, in this realm, to be something, to be of service, but not in this way. It was to be of service to where I actually, my position affects the next person's position and the next one. It's a domino effect, right? So, like, the people that are waking up, and then you got your zombies, bro. I ain't never see a gang like zombies. Yo, you ever seen some real gang shit? Zombies are a whole nother gang, bro. Zombies, freaking, like, vampires, like, their tribe is real. Because if they ever peep somebody that's going to rise above an occasion of being a zombie, oh, hell no. Oh, she's got to go. He's got to go. We got to break them down. They must have messed with the wrong people because they think that they're actually going to break out of these chains. So we're going to come for them. We're going to come for them, right? How many times have I dealt with that? I've actually had my mother literally say, it doesn't make logical sense. This person doesn't like your work. Oh, I'm sorry. They like your work. They don't like you, or they don't like certain things about you. Why are they still have you there? When you try to leave, they still want you there. because it's a whole sacrificial event, my dude. The whole thing is a sacrificial event, okay? It's energy. It is an energy concept. Why not steal? Why not suck off the blood or the energy, right? Off of the person who is happy. When you think of this Jupiterian energy, that Sagittarius energy, happiness, why not take down that person? We need something to pick up and walk around here. Otherwise, this shit ain't what it is. Like, we need something. Something needs to be excitement. Because otherwise, there ain't nothing going on. We can't get up and walk around. We need to suck the energy out of somebody else. So don't be surprised if you see around this time period when everything is elevating, energy is elevating, right? You're starting to pick up things and it's starting to process and you're getting things and the downloads are coming in. Please do not be surprised. Don't be surprised if you find a situation where now you become the culprit because you're so happy, you're ready to go. You're like, yo, I figured out all this stuff, right? All this stuff is downloading. You're like, I don't know why, but I woke up today like a leader. I woke up today like a business owner. I woke up today like super excited to start my, like what I've always had a passion for. And everybody that told me I couldn't, I don't really care what they have to say anymore, right? Don't be surprised if people start coming for you. Because they will. And that might be scary for some of y'all. Oh, I don't want to be sought out. It's easier for me to sit in the background. Nope, the universe ain't beat. That's the great conjunction, honey. Universe ain't beat. I could not come to Arizona with Philadelphia textbooks. I could not come to Arizona with New Jersey pens. This is a new school, my friend. You need to purchase what you need here and let's move forward. Right? We're not going to have what we thought we were going to deal with just because it was easier. We're not going to come in here and say, oh, well, back then when I was, no. But when we were over there, we did, but you're not doing it now. The universe is not beat to hear about your shedding skin that's on the ground. That was the old you. That was the old you. It's got to go. It's done. It's capiche. That's it, right? So you can't walk into this new conjunction now where you got two major planets that represent expansion and restriction from bullshit, restriction from not seeing what it really is, realistic aspects of the governmental consideration. Stop focusing on Trump and Biden. Let's keep it real. Let's move on. Politics have its own concept and its own energy. That focus is a whole nother world. And yes, I am even speaking out to the people that follow the energies of what's going on with all this other stuff between how the two presidents are fighting and what one is really trying to do and what. I follow all of that. But what I will tell you this is this. It will never be the center of my attention. Never. Because if it was Trump or Biden or Kamala Harris, I don't care if she's black, same situation. If it was Kamala or me and it was her family versus mine, Kamala's going to pick Kamala. Because at the end of the day, she's got herself. Kamala, whatever, however you say her name, she's going to, that's her. That's her solid foundation that she will pick with her family. She's not focused on yours right now. Those woo-woo lights and everything that they put out and how they care about us, we've been doing this over and over, friends. All the presidents put their shit down. All of them. All of them put them down. They write them down. Hey, this is what I'm going to do for your country. This is what I'm going to do. But if it was you and them in a booth, they ain't picking you. They ain't picking you. They're not going to pick you, bro. They're not. I see a good one. Hold up. Wow, I love hearing and seeing this from another, not just myself. Meanwhile, I've been crazy for years now. Left allowed energy and time never stop, pause, or move backwards. Exactly. Ain't nobody moving backwards. We ain't doing that. That's not what this is about. And a lot of this, too, has to do with surrounding yourself with the right energy, right? Restriction against bullshit has to do with the people, too. Listen, I hate to put it to you, but a lot of your friends are not your friends. A lot of the family, they might throw out this, but we family shit, and they ain't putting nothing into the circle to absolutely build anything. Do you know that there are actually like certain cultures, they do this, right? They come from their country, they come to America, there's 10 of them, right? They all put in money, okay, put in resources, put in whatever for one of those people, right, to build a business. After that person builds a business, they come back, they put more money. The second person goes. They come back, put more money. 10 people, 10 families, 10 legends. 10. Look around your circle. Are your friends feeding you like that? It doesn't even have to be money. Is it spirituality? Are they feeding you? Because spirit is food. Spirit is food. I mean, I even had to talk to myself, right? During the quarantine. I was cooking so well in the beginning. A lot of y'all saw my dishes. And then once shit got real during moving, and oh my God, when you move across the country, so much money you have to come up with. A lot of times, like, yeah, I have friends that would tell me, yo, eat oodles and noodles. Do I look like an oodles and noodles type of, excuse me? Do I look like I want to put oodles and noodles in my body and expect that some type of spirit is going to come out of that mess? All that chemical crap that's on the little, no. Would it be easier? Sure. With some of these people out here on Facebook, Instagram that we watch, right? I didn't do that, but I remember, what's the guy's name? He's so good. Oh, love his name. He's the one that curses all the time. I try not to, I really do. I'm sorry, Mom, but she also does it too. I forgot his name. I used to watch him all the time. But anyway, he says it even in his video. He says, eat oodles and noodles. I'm not putting no damn oodles and noodles in my system. I'm still eating seafood and trying to let it go. Again, this is a whole nother topic, but I cut out the meat, right? What we put in, we put out, right? A lot of people ask me, why did you stop eating meat? Again, I'm not against people that eat meat, do you? But understand I stopped eating meat because these animals that they're putting in the farms and stuff like that, they're not being treated well. And now they go ahead and get shot or whatever they have you, okay? The way that they kill the animal or however they do it. You think that adrenaline is not in that flesh that you're eating? Why are you eating that? So all that fear that's happening, why do you think it's $1 to get a freaking chicken sandwich at McDonald's? Why do you think that there's nothing but fast food restaurants all over the hood? Think about it. Keep them dumb. I mean, I hate to put it that way, but that's the truth. Keep them dumb. Keep them like a chicken. Chickens are stupid. They run right into the grinder. They don't know what the hell's going on. If anybody that's seen the McDonald's, I forgot what it's called, but the McDonald's documentary with the guy eating all the McDonald's food for a month and his whole body almost failed. That shit is real. It's a real life situation. He almost couldn't finish the documentary because his heart was about to go out. So it might taste good. How many things taste good? Think of the people. I've had a couple people that tasted great, right? I know it's a lot to say. Sagittarius energy, right? Tastes great. Look great. On point. Dress good. Smell nice. Ain't shit. Ain't giving no type of energy. Just taking energy. Meanwhile, I'm out here meditating, getting myself together, healing, right? The nasty parts, right? Expanding like the Sagittarius energy. Healing. I'm out here healing. I'm out here crying and shit, and breaking generational traumas and all types of stuff. And then I go hang out with them, and they taste great. But eventually your taste buds start to turn, right? Just like when you start eating healthy food, it starts to turn, right? Grass tastes, or I say grass tastes. Anything that's green tastes like grass when you first start eating healthy. But then eventually you start craving those things, right? Like I crave dates, Brussels sprouts, asparagus. Like I crave these things now. A lot of the farro. I crave stuff like this. And like eventually your taste buds start to change when it comes to like men too. I just posted something that was actually really funny about that. But like it was a meme that said, and it was funny, but it's the truth because it's a whole disease. It's a disease, honey. Y'all focus on coronavirus. Whew. That devil energy is a whole other disease. And that shit's just like the cancer cells, honey. All you gotta do is wake up that shit in your system and it's a wrap. And a lot of us are waking up those things in our system. Every time you out there bumping and grinding with the wrong person, right? Letting them taste you to the point where you just giving away all of your ingredients. All of them. All of the good stuff. They leaving you high and dry with nothing but a little bit of salt and pepper. And it ain't the good kind. It's the one that's on the recipes that just say pepper to taste. Right? They leaving you with that mess. It's a mess. Just leaving you with all that. They took out the cayenne, the curry, the cumin, the roasted red pepper flakes, the garlic, minced kind. They took them all out. All of the shit. They left you with some pepper to taste. Because they took that energy and they used it to get up in the morning. I had an ex actually tell me before, right? Well, when we have sex, I feel like I can run a mile. I had to look at that. I was like, I don't feel like I can do that. Sorry. It was great, pump-wise, but it's not this. It's the energy. It's not mutual, right? It wasn't mutual. What did they say? Requited. It wasn't requited either. So my point is to you is to this, before I go into a 2-hour zone that normally happens, right? And we didn't even really talk about the placements or anything, and we still get into a lengthy conversation. But my point is this, okay? The Great Conjunction has many theories of what its purpose is, and what I can tell you is that it's bringing in this idea of the Age of Aquarius. Age of Aquarius, especially because you have that Jupiter energy and Saturn energy both going into Aquarius before they conjunct. And they're very, very close. It's right there. Literally, that's a big freaking deal. A lot of people think that that's not a big deal. Bro, that's almost like Venus, like being right next to us to the point where you could see it like, right, like y'all can see the, like, it's right there. Like you look at the sky and you just see Venus. Not like a small little star. Not a small little star. I'm talking about like like those days that you see the moon and it's huge and it's like the blood orange moon. You're like, whoa, like closer. Closer. That is Jupiter and Saturn on the 21st of December. It's to the point where TED Talks even snuck up recently and came out with a video. Y'all can go check it out. Where they talked about how there might be a blackout soon. The fear is already starting. Y'all doing anything to take away the energy. The energy never lies though. It never lies. It's balance. It's balance, my friend. Yin and yang. That devil energy can try to pump as much as it wants, but at the same token, it will always be a balancing energy. Always. It's just natural. It's yin and yang. Where something bad happens, something good is always going to happen. And depending on what the bad is, right? It may not even be really bad. Okay? There's a lot of good things that came from this virus. It's not all bad. Right? A lot of people, unfortunately, passed away. But when you think of it on the sense of energy, they just went into energy. They didn't die off. They're still here, but it's a different mechanism, right? So high that a lot of us cannot understand that because we're so physically attached to those people. We want them to be who they are. We want, them to be the name that they are. But they have to fly, too. Not everybody has to remain a caterpillar. And realistically speaking, the best thing my dad could even ever told me was, everybody in this world is borrowed. You are on your own journey, my friend, and all the people that are around you are borrowed energy for you to learn what you need to learn while you're on your journey. That is exactly what it is. And any alliance that you have with anybody is exactly what that is an alliance. They are accessories to self. They can be creators as well when it comes to the idea of having creation factors through parents or creating with partner to create child, or creating with other partner to create business, but it will always be two different entities if two people are involved. Always be separate entities. All of the same niche. All equaling self, right? All connected. But in theory, in human life,
They are responsible for two different sides of the fence, because that is why they are them and you are you. You're responsible for two different things. All collectively, but in different ways. That is the energy that we're putting out here. And the idea is that at the end of it, when we put all of this together, if you cannot answer the questions that we talked about throughout this whole video of, are you putting in for self? Are you there for self? Are you making sure self is good? Not in an egotistic way, but in a way where then you can then take self and multiply it into helping neighbors, right? Multiply it as a whole and help neighbors become wholes. But it takes self to make whole first. So easy to get into a relationship. So easy to join a partnership to a business. So easy to sign up for all these things and have all these things that turn into distractions, my friend. Because that's what they are. They can be magnificent, but if you can't handle it, it's a distraction. You have to become whole first. Have to. To be able to use an accessory correctly, you have to become whole. And I know that that's probably a lifelong journey, but as long as you are able to multitask and be able to focus on self, and then also take heed to what's going on with your accessory, and you're able to do things, cool. But if you are giving up self to focus on accessories or even children, seriously, it's a creation of self. It's extra things. It stems from self, but it is also an accessory factor to the main machine, is my point. When I say accessories, I don't mean it in a way where you just throw it out. No, I'm saying it's additional factors to the core. It's extra things. It stems of what is here, but it's creations that have stemmed out. If this is not good, these will never be good. How many parents do you realize that are out here, right? They're losing themselves in the process of parenting. They don't have time for self. They don't have time for what they need to do, right? I can't start my business because I have these kids around. No, not an excuse. Not an excuse. Because if you can't get you to the core together, how the hell are you going to tell them what to do? They're going to look at you like children and they're going to say, you prove it. Prove it. Why should I go out here and do this if you didn't do it? Right? There's a question. There's a few comments too. Oh, snap. Let's see. Energy is true power. Yeah, but not all energy is wanted. Yeah, no. But at the end, all energy is needed for true power, enlightenment, balance. Energy is true power. Yeah, energy is true power. I do believe that's the power of everything is energy, right? That's how we power things up. That's the only way things are working is through energy. It's not cash flow. I dare y'all to walk up to some like enlightened ass being and try to give them a damn $20 bill. Do it. I just want to see what happens. I dare y'all walk up to spirit and try to like on y'all days where y'all really need to like, or matter of fact, pray with a $20 bill. Just put it right underneath your hands when you're praying. Put it. I want to see if it disappears like somebody done took it. Like God was like, thank you. I will answer your prayers with that $20. No, it doesn't work. Energy works. You bring the universe, your energy. You say, I'm gonna put this in. You talk to the universe. Talk to the universe. Talk to the talk to the universe. Talking to self is not a bad thing. People talk, oh, they talking to themselves. Listen, I'm not saying have full conversations, answer self. Well, I do it. I have full conversations, answer myself back and everything. And y'all can call me crazy as y'all want because I know that I'm present. I know that I'm present. I'm talking to my shadow self. And I just want to make sure they on point and that they making sense with each other. They working together. But my point is this. Talk to the universe. Tell the universe, this is my direction. I worked on this today. This is what I did. I would like for these things to work towards this. This is what my goals are. You'll be surprised how much that shit is more like money than putting a $20 bill underneath your hands while you're praying. It ain't gonna do nothing. There was a question that I got to. Everyone energy, okay, is going to be used some way, somehow. The issue is when using becomes abusing thoughts. Okay. It's going to be used some way, somehow. The issue is when using becomes abusing. I think putting it into this situation is almost as similar as the concept behind what love is according to the Bible, right? In the sense of love is an action, okay? But the idea of love is not jealous, love is not this, love is like that. It's the same concept. When you're being put into the ecosystem as a certain light from what your job is and your purpose is, I do not think that that's considered to be using, right? I use it because in that sense, it would be almost like saying it in a way where they can kind of say it in a company, in a corporate company. Oh, this person's great at this. Let's use them for this. No, nobody's being used. I think people are being gifted to an opportunity in the sense of you're good at X, Y, and Z. I'm going to give you this freedom, right? This realm of freedom. It is not easy, but you're going to learn so much from it. And in the same factors, you're going to be able to achieve the things that you have wanted to achieve. Because I do heavily believe that people know exactly what kind of life they're going to have in the sense of like, I don't want to say the life they're going to have, but they know exactly what their purpose is before even entering this world. They have contracts that are signed before even entering this world. And once you enter this realm, it's almost like your idea is to kind of go and find these contracts and seek out for what these contracts represent. But these contracts were created by you. It's almost as if you were able to write a story, right? Before the story, and like you're able to write it, right? You write the whole book, and then you say, okay, as the author, I decide to completely just forget everything, and then I'll read it over and see from a point of view of somebody that didn't write it, right? But you already know, what's gonna happen because you wrote the book, but you can't remember. You're not there yet for remembering. And I feel like that is pretty much what we're dealing with right now is a lot of us are starting to wake up and remember the contracts that we sign. And these contracts are made in a state of mind that is not anxious, anxiety, not negative, not in the world of abuse. They're considerably in a world of love because at that point when we made those contracts, we were united with pure energy. And I feel like having that pure energy is going to make us sign contracts that reflects what that love actually embodies, but from a perspective of somebody that's in the love first, right? You're already in it. Whereas when you forget that love exists, because now you have restarted and reset this programming, so that way you can go through this experience that you've already written. You've written already. You know what you're there to achieve. You just may not know the weather, right? I feel like you just don't know what the weather is going to be for the day. But you know that eventually you're going to pick up. You're going to understand. I think that you know when you're in that love, when you come here, before you come here, you know in that love, you know at that moment, like, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna realize it. And these are the signs that I can have to wake myself up, to make me realize that I signed these contracts. But until then, until you wake up, until you get to that point where you understand it, all these little things have to happen with loss of memory, so it's natural. And so that way you can really go through it. Because anything that our parents tell us, right? Anything our parents say, don't touch it, it's hot. We need to know that it's hot before we even think to not touch it. We need to know what hot is, and then once we know what hot is, we still might touch it because we want the experience. It's the desire. It's that energy of Pluto. Ironically, Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter were all dancing around each other for the longest, right? Especially in the sign of Capricorn. They're all just dancing around. There's been so many different movements and placements and transitions and transits, all that stuff between those energies. And at the same time, that stellium of those three is bringing in that light, because Pluto is all about what we desire based off of what we already went through. So, like I said, your parent tells you that the stove is hot. Well, I need to go through it first. And then once I go through it being hot, I don't desire to do it anymore because I've already done it now. I've already experienced it, right? So that's that Pluto energy. That's dancing along with the restrictions from bullshit, and also the making sure that your government is set up correctly, right? Then with the desire factors of Pluto, and Pluto's that energy that's like, I desire this because I want to know what it feels like, but it's also the energy of like, I'm going to make sure that I destruct anything that's in its way of its own transformation, right? Because that's basically that Pluto energy. That's been dancing around. And then now you add this Jupiter energy, which is the quality of that Piscean and that Sagittarius energy, which is considerably, considerably the energy of taking spirit, taking all of that energy of spirit, of self-love, but more so from a sense of no boundaries, right? It's taking real love, because that Piscean energy knows love, but it doesn't really have a lot of boundaries, and that's what a lot of Pisces work on. But Jupiter doesn't want boundaries. Sagittarius is like, open that shit up. We don't want any boundaries, right? So you take this idea of Jupiter, expansiveness, spirituality, true love, unconditional love, even a little bit of illusion. But then I feel like Sagittarius is like, all right, but I'm used to this, right? Sagittarius, ain't no Sagittarius going to not know what to do with some mushrooms, like I said earlier. So they're down for the count, right? They're like, well, it's just an experience. We're going on a trip. Let's trip and let's figure out what the trip can teach us, right? So you got that going, along with the energy of Pluto, along with the energy of Saturn, that energy of Pluto of transformation and making sure you dig deep what you desire based off of what you haven't went through. Saturn, restriction from bullshit, making sure government is there. Why do you think all this shit is going on in the governmental system? It's a mess. Everybody's getting found out. All stuff is going to come out, and it's going to get even crazier because now it's Jupiter and Saturn together, right? Expansiveness of the government and what's happening. Bruh, a lot of people are focused on the expansiveness of the government being about Trump and Biden. We are the government. Once we wake up and realize it, right? People are becoming more realistic to what that means now. Everybody's waking up. You know what? It makes a lot of sense why there would be this crazy situation of all these voting counts and this and that. All these things, right? Making a lot of sense. Very aligned with the stars. But it's also a distraction, because is it starting your business? Is it putting food on your table? Is it making you great? And is it considering you first? Because if it's not, let it go. Get it out of here. Because again, like I will tell you again, Kamala Harris is picking Kamala Harris. She ain't thinking about Suki-Liyah Booker. Okay? Her shit is her shit. Mine is mine. And I'm not saying that people can't work together, but what I'm saying is that make sure that you're putting food on your table and that you're building your foundation before you get considerable of all this political stuff, before you get considerable of who's on TV playing football, who's doing this, these people don't know you. They do not know you exist. And y'all might mess up situations and temporary situations with connections with people because y'all arguing over a football game. That that team doesn't even know who you are. They don't. So my point is that focus on you, focus on your family, process and download. Enjoy this ride that is about to occur, because the ride has started way back with, Scorpio energy, even down to like the eclipses that were going on in the summer, and then that solar eclipse we just had, the new moon solar eclipse, which is opening up a pocket of now it's going to be like a lot of Gemini, Sagittarius, eclipse energy. So that's going to be awesome because, oh my God, those two signs are, they're a lot of learning, a lot of Mercury and Jupiter competition of what is local and what is further than local and foreign, all the information. It's just, child, it's just going to come out. It's going to come out. It is. It's going to come out. And I believe the next full moon is going to be full moon in Cancer. It should be. I believe. No. Yeah. Because I believe we just had the full moon in Gemini. And then we're going to do we just had the new moon in Sag. So the next one's going to be the full moon in Cancer. Honey. The feels. Anywho. I have one more thing from somebody, and then I got to go. Ooh, this is nice. I like the length. Okay, great. You said the term love. Last questions for the night. What is love? What is constitutional love? Are they the same? Which holds more value in the scale of time? Ooh, there's a lot of questions here. Also, what do the stars say about the December 25th 25th, 2020, the year of visions. Say about the December 25th, 2020, the year of visions. Not really sure what that means. Maybe it's how you wrote it. I'm not really sure. What is love? I mean, I feel like that is such a personal question. For me, love is action. I always say this. I've said this in other videos too. Love is action to me because I feel like the idea is if I love somebody, it's because I love myself enough to love them. If I don't love myself first, I won't understand what love is, right? It's very similar to the concepts of the stove with the hot theory. Like, I desire to understand love because I know what it is on a sense of self, so I seek it in someone else, right? That's pretty much how I would describe that. Or the idea of, like I said, the accessory factor. It's adding an additional concept of maximizing or multiplying that idea of love once the original foundation is already being set. What is unconstitutional love? I'm not really sure. That's a good question. I guess I would need more information as far as unconstitutional love. And I don't think love would be considered unconstitutional. So I definitely would need more information. And then, which holds more value in the scale of time? Well, I feel like time is not a real concept. Oh. Spell check is the mother for unconditional love. What is unconditional love? Okay, so I think this is the reason why you mentioned abuse earlier, because of the fact of the unconditional love factors. I've actually had someone that I've dated, and it was a really long relationship. That person was obsessed with unconditional love. They kept saying that I had conditions on my love. Ironically speaking, I realized towards the end of the relationship, the problem that the person had was that they didn't love themselves. So it made a lot of sense why they said I have conditions on my love, because there was a point to it where he was more focused on the factors of, you don't love me enough for me to not have to love me, if that makes a lot of sense. It was more so, you're not loving me to where I don't have, like, I have to, like, I don't have to heal. That was his unconditional love factors. And that is basically what can cross over as abuse, because it became a fact where, for me, I was like, well, it's, why do I have to love you? There's actually a song about this, where Janae Aiko wrote about it, and ideally she's a Pisces. Makes a lot of sense, because I said earlier, a lot of Pisces don't really have a lot of boundaries, which is not the greatest. And she always talks about this in her music. I love her. She's amazing. She sings really well and writes really well, but if you listen to a lot of her music, she is stuck into this very immature world of what love is, and the poor thing just loses herself in every situation, like from drugs to love to whatever. It's just always about everything else. And although she makes a lot of songs that really talks about self-love, there's still this going backwards as she usually does. And then it's this anger that comes at the end where she sings songs like Back Up On My Bullshit. Like, it still puts you into a place where it's kind of like Scorn Woman, and it's very like, back up on my bullshit. It is bullshit. It's a distraction. Why are you focused on bullshit when you should be focused on the things that mean love for you? So I guess for me, what my opinion on unconditional love is, it doesn't have conditions that limit you from feeling like you're losing yourself. Like, there's no conditions of understanding. Okay, in the sense of this, put it this way. I feel like conditional love is when you're putting, you only love me if you do this. You only love me if I do this. You only love me if blah, 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 blah. That is conditional love to me personally. I don't feel like it was for that person that said it to me. I feel like it was a reverse psychology thing where it was like, because I never said those words, I only love you if you do this. I loved that person unconditionally. But unconditional love to me is acceptance of the fact that you may not be able, that person may not do X, Y, and Z, but it's a love of saying, I'm going to allow you to be yourself and for you to discover it on your own. There's also a maturity factor there that if that person is not meeting you at your frequency, although you have unconditional love for them and who they are, you have the love for them that doesn't have conditions. It doesn't put necessary factors on it for you to be able to say, I love you as a person, but it still at least gives you the understanding that self-love comes first before anything. And at the end of the day, if they're not meeting you at that frequency, then although you unconditionally love them, you still are going to choose yourself first, because at the end of the day, only you could truly feed yourself fully, right? You can only convert the energy that's needed to feed self, right? Someone could try to feed you, but it's not going to be the same as you actually processing the food itself. If your organs are out of whack, that person can't make your organ. No, you have to be here first. You have to make sure you're good here, and then you can go ahead and worry about everything else. And that is the reason why I say when it comes to that unconditional factor, although you can unconditionally love somebody, you cannot fully 100% give real love unless you love self. So it will literally cancel it out like a mathematician program if that person is not at all on the same frequency. It doesn't mean that if they don't do this, that they don't love you. What it means is that you have to accept them, that they may have taken a different route. As long as you're back to balance, you're good. But if they take a route that affects them on a happiness, be happy for that person. Even if they take a route that's like bad for them, you still, God gives freedom. So your job is not to come in here and try to put rules on anybody, because you're a God within self. That doesn't mean you won't go around and being God to other people, which brings me back the same thing of what I was saying about businesses. Some of them was acting like gods to their employees. No, you're not my God. You're not my parent. That's not how that works. So my point is that at the end of the day, realize 100% that self-love is what is going to be the most secure. Restrict yourself from the bullshit. Focus on your governmental system, right? Focus on what's important and expand. That's the best I can give you guys. Anyway, I look forward to hearing so much about how this energy affects you guys. I'm still doing readings, so for the sake of YouTube, please follow me, like me, comment, subscribe. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, for the sake of all that, please follow me in any which one way. If you guys have any questions about readings, birth chart readings, tarot readings, I'm here. I hope this video was relative, and I hope that you were able to learn something. And again, I say this with all the love in the world. This is also for me. So when I say y'all, I'm talking to myself too. This video will be watched by me a few times, probably to help me out with my own stuff. But I'm always here to talk. And for the sake of my midheaven in Sagittarius, I hope that I start to put out more videos, because it's been a while and it's no excuse, and that's why I need to get back to my business. So anyway, friends, you have a beautiful night. Thank you for tuning in. For those that have commented or given me questions, I appreciate you. Please keep doing that every time I post a video. It makes it very much so entertaining and makes me put my mind active. All right, love you guys. Bye.